On our website, we've got another video that talks about a filler rack pullout, which is a filler, a rack that sits behind a filler strip, and when you pull it out, you get this spice rack approach. So you can go watch that video to see how those are installed and more of the attributes of those, how they work and so forth. The purposes of this video is for inset applications. Things are a little bit different, and this video is going to cover that as well as a couple installation nuances you can be aware of. So to kind of give you some background here, we're in Jim Barton's kitchen, and he had this funky beam to contend with in this back corner. So rather than using a base filler pull-out rack, which is going to be for a 24 deep base cabinet, he used a wall filler pull-out rack, which is only 12 inches deep. And that way he was able to kind of create this cavity back here where the base filler pull-out rack would have been into this beam. So he used a wall filler pull-out rack, but the filler pull-out concept is the same regardless of how you're using it. What I want to draw your attention to is Jim put it right up against a refrigerator cabinet. Call it a tall cabinet, call it a wall, it doesn't matter. What has to happen here is when you pull that rack out, it needs to clear that front frame. So you need to use the flush end option or you're in trouble. If this had just been an exposed end, which is when the front frame hangs past the cabinet side by 1/4 of an inch, if Jim then put this right up tight to that cabinet side and he pulled this out, this would have banged into the back of that front frame. So you need to have some presence of mind on your installation. If you don't do this approach with the flush end, you at least have to put some filler material back here to push this off that cabinet side. So be aware of some of that, and that's whether it's overlay or inset. What makes this unique for inset is on these filler pull-out racks, as the other video shows you, this decorative overlay mounts to the actual front of the rack. Okay, so when you buy this rack, it doesn't come with this. You have to order this separately. In the case of overlay, the way we accomplish that is this is a filler, and then we do an overlay door panel on top of that, which would line up with your overlay doors that are sitting on top of the front frame here. With inset, you're trying to make this look like a cabinet, so you want a front frame with an inset door or drawer front or whatever it's going to be. What you can see here is on these narrow pull-out racks, and you're doing inset, we've got a front frame and the insert panel, and the insert panel has to be a slab. You can't do that. There's not enough room to fit that as a panelized door or insert. It has to be a slab. So you're going to get that approach whether you like it or not. Be aware of that. But at least we can capture the beaded inset look, which is going to pick up the bead here. Now when you go to mount this on here, you've got a front frame and a door or an insert which are not joined together. When you get them out of the package, you're going to have the frame in one box. This is in another box. You're going to join them together or mate them together. They both have to be installed to the back to the front of this pullout through the back here. So you're going to have to come in with screws into both of those items to hold them in place. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So it's a little trickier with the inset than it is with overlay, but you can see as Jim's done here, it gives you a seamless look. When that's shut, it looks like an inset cabinet. You'd think that's a 6-inch cabinet. You go and grab the knob and lo and behold, the whole thing pulls out. So we can really help walk you through some of the nuances and situations you'll run into with these filler pull-out racks, but they're really kind of priceless. We're just doing tons of them in every kitchen we sell now. So feel free to ask questions, but these are great additions, fully adjustable shelves. These pop off little pegs here and you can move them up and down on 1/2-inch increments if you can see those adjustable holes there. Great little device, and they're very inexpensive. They only add $150 maybe to a typical cabinet. So give us a shout if you have any questions. We'll be happy to walk you through this. Thanks.